Good day and welcome to Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro. It's great to be here today on this fantastic TV station, Poly TV Ilaro. Thank you so much for joining us again today. We really appreciate. Also, we are delighted to be here today to know that you're out there watching us on Poly TV Ilaro. My name is Damilola Adekunle and I have here with me.
Good afternoon, listeners, viewers at home. My name is Peter Olanio, and it's good to be here, like Damilola has said.
Okay, as you know, we have several segments on the show, Poly TV show, and it promises to be very interactive, educative, and as well entertaining to all our viewers out there. Thank you so much once again. We'll be starting with the newspaper front page, followed by FPI agenda, and from the Directorate of the Student Affairs Office. Also, we have the center table. We have a whole lot packed for you today, so I want you to stay logged on and keep watching Poly TV show. Share, like, drop your comment as well. So we have to go on this short break. We'll be right back with the newspaper front page. Welcome back. It's to the Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro, and before we went on that short break, I said we'll be starting with the newspaper front page, and we have several papers today. We have the Punch newspaper, Daily Trust, the Daily Times, Nigerian Tribune. Peter, what other papers do you have with you?
I have the Guardian newspaper here with me. I have Leadership Friday. I have the Nation newspaper, Nature News. We have also newspaper that will talk about sport here. We have Punch Extra. We have the Business Day here. We have Mirror Sport. And these are the papers we are going to review today.
Okay, so to kickstart the segment, which is the newspaper front page, we'll be starting with the Punch newspaper. Hunger protest. 17 feared killed as firms. Other count huge losses. 17 feared killed as firms. Others count huge losses, and there are 2 riders underneath it. 10 killed in Niger, Borno, 7 in Kano. Others, federal government complex looted. APC secretariat raised. OPS counts losses as banks, ports, office shut. Federal government begs protesters. NBA offers free legal services. That story is on pages 2 and 12 of the Punch newspaper.
And on page 5 of the Punch newspaper here, I have this one. FCE Cabinet Council removes provost, appoints replacement. FCE Cabinet Council removes provost, appoints replacement. That's on page 5 of the Punch newspaper.
Dangote refinery to gulp 1.7 trillion naira crude monthly. Dangote refinery to gulp 1.7 trillion naira crude monthly. That story is credited to Report, and that story is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper.
And on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper, I have this one here. House help admits killing Justice Ajumogobia's daughter. House help admits killing Justice Ajumogobia's daughter. That's coming from police source. You see it on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. 30 million GSM lines not properly linked to NIN. 30 million GSM lines not properly linked to NIN, and that is credited to the telecommunications, and that story is on page 20 of Punch newspaper. And back to page 4 of the Punch newspaper. Police arrest 6 exhumed body of Ekiti Varsity ex-DVC. Police arrest 6 exhumed body of Ekiti Varsity ex-DVC. That's on page 4 of the Punch newspaper.
AFDB okays $500 million fresh loan for Nigeria. AFDB okays $500 million fresh loan for Nigeria. That story is on page 20 of the Punch newspaper.
Let's go straight to the Daily Trust newspaper where I have this major story. Day 1 of protest, death, destruction in some states. Day 1 of protest, deaths, destruction in some states. That is the biggest headline on the front page of Daily Trust newspaper. There are 4 riders under that story. The first one says, Kano, Borno, Yobe, Katsina governments impose curfew. Kano, Borno, Yobe, Katsina governments impose curfew. Next one says, police arrest journalists, tear gas protesters. Police arrest journalists, tear gas protesters. The third one says, pro-anti-demonstrators clash in Abuja. pro-anti-demonstrators clash in Abuja. And lastly, I have this one. No rally in Southeast, Ekiti, Benue, Kogi. No rally in Southeast, Ekiti, Benue, Kogi. Is to see more details on this, just get your own copy of Daily Trust newspaper.
Protesters besiege Buhari's house in Daura. Sultan urges calm. Protesters besiege Buhari's house in Daura. Sultan urges calm. That story is on page 14 of Daily Trust newspaper.
On page 5 of Daily Trust newspaper, 2,390 displaced as Boko Haram attacks Yobe community. 2,390 displaced as Boko Haram attacks Yobe community. That's on page 5 of Daily Trust newspaper.
Businesses shut in many states. Businesses shut in many states. That story is on page 15 of Daily Trust newspaper.
I have this one on page 29. African financial institutions move against subjective credit ratings. African financial institutes move against subjective credit ratings. That's on page 29 of Daily Trust newspaper.
AFDB okays 750 billion naira loan for Nigeria's energy transition program. AFDB okays 750 billion naira loan for Nigeria's energy transition program. That story is on page 16 of Daily Trust newspaper.
I've gone back to page 27 where I have this story here. Kidnappers chase FCT residents from farm, steal 3 bikes. Kidnappers chase FCT residents from farm, steal 3 bikes. That's on page 27 of Daily Trust newspaper.
Away from the Daily Trust newspaper, I have the Daily Times newspaper, and there is this bold headline: #End Bad Governance. Organizers instigated mass uprising, looting, not protest, says IGP. End bad governance. Organizers instigated mass uprising, looting, not protest, says IGP, and there are 2 riders underneath it. Places police officer on red alert. Stop mobilizing youth to disrupt rallies. Falana tells government officials. That story is on page 4 of the Daily Times.
I have another story that looks like the one you just took now. It's this #End Bad Governance. Looting, violence, mass protests. Curfew imposed in 4 states. Looting, violence, mass protests. Curfew imposed in 4 states. That is another big story here. It starts from the front page of the Daily Times newspaper and continues on page 4.
Protest. Review your strangulating policies now. PDP tells Tinubu-led APC government. Protest. Review your strangulating policies now. PDP tells Tinubu-led APC government. Says life in Nigeria unbearable. That story is on front page of the Daily Times.
Let's go to Nigerian Tribune newspaper here. We have this major story. Hardship protests. Chaos in Kano, Nasarawa, Kaduna, Yobe, Niger, Abuja. That is the biggest story on the front page of Nigerian Tribune newspaper. You can see it on pages 2, 3, and 4 of that newspaper.
Security agencies have identified senator as sponsor of protest. Wike alleges. Security agencies have identified senator as sponsor of protest. Wike alleges. That story is on page 6 of Nigerian Tribune.
Okay, on page 6 of Nigerian Tribune newspaper, 87 lawyers named senior advocates of Nigeria. 87 lawyers named senior advocates of Nigeria. That is another big story here. It's on page 6 of Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
IGP places all commands units on red alert to prevent further violent protest. IGP places all command units on red alert to prevent further violent protest. That's the reason page 3 of Nigerian Tribune.
All right, let's move straight to the Nation newspaper with the biggest headline. Peaceful protests in Lagos, Rivers, Plateau, Oyo, Osun. Peaceful protests in Lagos, Rivers, Plateau, Oyo, Osun. That's the biggest story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. You start from the front page there and you see the concluding part on page 28 of the Nation newspaper.
Economy suffers multi-billion naira losses today of protests. Economy suffers multi-billion naira losses today of protest. That's the reason page 5 of the Nation.
Let's go to our sports newspaper, and we have with us here Punch Sports Extra. We have this story here. Abraham on West Ham radar. Abraham on West Ham radar. That's Tammy Abraham. West Ham now are looking for a way to sign him from Roma.
Nigeria begin medal hunt in athletics. Nigeria begin medal hunt in athletics. That story is on pages 2 and 7 of Punch Sport Extra.
And I have this story here on page 6 that has picture of Victor Osimhen. The story says, Spurs battle Chelsea for Osimhen. Spurs battle Chelsea for Osimhen. That's the chase between Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea looking for the service of Victor Osimhen.
Fans back Iheanacho to shine in La Liga. Fans back Iheanacho to shine in La Liga. That story is on page 6 of Punch Sport Extra.
Let's end this segment with this story I have on page 8 about Anthony Joshua. Usyk tips Joshua to beat Dubois. Usyk tips Joshua to beat Dubois. That's on page 8 of the sports newspaper, Punch Sports Extra. You see it on page 8 of that newspaper.
Okay, so now we have to go on a short break. Don't forget, it's still Poly TV show on Poly TV in Laro. We'll be right back.
Welcome back from that break. Don't forget you're still on Poly TV show on Poly TV in Laro. Before we went for that break, we told you the segments we are going to be having, and we are right now at our FPI agenda. And in the studio this afternoon, we have a guest who happens to be the current registrar of Federal Polytechnic in Laro, in person of Mrs. Aderonke Babatola. Good afternoon, ma.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma. I have some few questions with you, and I'll start from my first question, which says, I'd like you to tell us the accomplishments that you are most proud of, being the registrar of the Polytechnic right now.
Thank you very much. There are numerous accomplishments that we as a management, because I don't want to talk as an individual,
yes,
we'll be able to accomplish for the past 2 years as the registrar of this great polytechnic. And there are numerous, but I'll just mention a few.
All right.
Number 1, prompt release of student results. Immediately, academic board approved the results of our students. We quickly set into action to make sure that we release the results. Admission process in the Polytechnic has always been seamless. We, make sure that we complete our admission process as stated by our regulatory agency, which is JAMB. We'll be able to also have 100% accreditation of all our programs, both at ND and HND programs. The last time our accreditation teams came on board, in fact, they gave our rector accolade for having successfully, been able to have accreditation for 4 times within the space of 2 years that he became the rector. We have a academic calendar that is also very, very smooth. No destruction in our academic calendar. And regarding staff, this present management has always prioritized staff welfare. Promotion exercise we're done. I want to tell you that even the year 2024 promotion, we've almost complete it. We are just waiting for the governing council to come and give the final approval. Matriculation, we're able to do it as at when we should do it. Convocation ceremony. In fact, recently we did some recruitment exercise, and it was each free one. It was not like that in other institutions. And I want to give kudos to the management team of this great polytechnic for this numerous achievements so far.
Thank you, ma. Having mentioned all these accomplishments, let me also ask you, in what ways the polytechnic has evolved over the past 2 years that you became the registrar of the institution?
On infrastructural development, I want to tell you that we have, I've told you that we work as a team. Yes. We have a group of people that are called the management team. So the management team of this great polytechnic has been able in the past 2 years to expand in the area of infrastructure, building more classrooms. You can also see road network, constructing a new road network. In the area of academic excellence, we are on top. We are on top of, academic excellence. So, and another thing is that this management team will be able to initiate a program that is called the work study exercise for our students, especially the indigent students who are not able to meet up with finances regarding their education. So the polytechnic has been able to do that in these few years.
That's a very nice one. So what challenges have you faced in your role and how have you overcome them?
I want to let you know that challenges to me are tools for growth and development, and challenges are part of life. As a registrar, I won't say that I've not encountered some level of challenges, but all these challenges I'll be able to use it for growth, for development.
Thank you, Ma. So let me ask you like this: the initiatives or programs that you have implemented to improve the academic experience for students since you assumed office as registrar?
I will also talk as a team, because as the registrar, we have our rector. We be able to introduce new programs both at ND and HND level. We also have a center called the Entrepreneurship and Skill Acquisition Center. That place has also been able to enlarge, the capacity of that center, where our students learn new skills. The new MBT ES is bent on skills now and not on degree. It says skills and not degree. And in the past 2 years, this management has been able to enlarge the capacity of that entrepreneurship center. I know also that you asked about innovations that we've been able to do.
Yes.
We have a center called the Innovation Center. The center has been able to produce Keke Aremu. I don't know whether that's the name, but we name it Keke Aremu at the last convocation. And I learned from management that some federal government agencies, they are ready to partner with the polytechnic so that we can produce that Keke Aremu. It's tricycle. Yeah. Okay, the tricycle, we can able to produce it en masse, and I think that's a plus to the management of this institution.
Thank you, Ma. Let me also ask you your goals and priorities for the future of the polytechnic.
My goals and priority for the future of this polytechnic is to be a leader in education technology. I see this polytechnic being on top, and you are aware that I think some few weeks ago we were at the Senate committee on tertiary education and TED fund for the upgrading of this polytechnic to a university.
Yes.
So I'm hopeful that this will come to realization by the grace of God before the end of the tenure of the present management.
All right. Everyone is waiting for that. Also, how have you worked to enhance the reputation and standing of the polytechnic within the education sector since you assumed office, man?
I also talk as the mouthpiece of the management in that area, because to achieve a partnership with I can't get that question very well. You said,
right,
how have I
worked to enhance the reputation and standing of the polytechnic
so I said,
within education sector?
That's it. I also talk as a team that, I told you we have a management team of the polytechnic.
Yes.
We have been able to, through the academic board, have a very stable academic calendar. Our students, they know the time they will get admission. Yes. No destruction of academic. In fact, we can call us a private polytechnic, and we also know the time that will end. And I know this has been, we have been able to do this through the proactiveness of our rector. He is a very proactive man, so we'll be able to have that. And another great giant thing that we have been also able to do is this TV station and the radio station. People can see us all over the world. We have visibility that even worldwide. We are now a global village in Ilaro. So people, through this TV station, people are able to see our achievements and all the innovations that we are able to do. So it's a plus to the management.
Before I will let you go, Ma, let me ask what advice you like to have for future leaders in academia based on your experiences you've gathered, and as well based on the experience you've gathered since you became registrar of the polytechnic.
Number one is that anybody that wants to aspire to be a leader must be ready to have an inclusive government, must be ready to be transparent, must be a man or a woman of integrity. Integrity is key, and we must be loyal to the system. I think that's my advice.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Aderonke Babatola.
Thank you for having me on this program. It's a pleasure, and I want to wish the management a very productive and wonderful years ahead, a year of growth, a year of development, a year that this polytechnic will grow in leaps and bounds in the name of Jesus. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, and we also appreciate our viewers at home for watching us since we began the program. We'll go for a short break, then we'll come back, we'll go straight to another segment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro, and we're on that segment, FPI Agenda, and Peter had a chat with the Registrar of the Polytechnic, Mrs. Alhaji Babatola. That was so fantastic. And now I have the Bursar of the Polytechnic in person of Mr. Morouf Akinola FCA. He's a fellow member, Institute of Chartered Accountant of Nigeria, ICANN. He's also the fellow member Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, FCTI. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, sir. So as the Bursar of the Polytechnic, you manage the finance of the institution. How has it been? How have you been managing the financial operation in the Polytechnic over the past 2 years, sir?
Thank you. Thank you, the presenter. You see, I grew up from the system.
Okay.
And I have been in the department since 1992. So I've worked diligently even with the pioneer Bursar of the institutions. So the jobs have been very friendly with me. So there's no much to think about than just to follow what my predecessors has handed over to. Our job, if you want to do it effectively, just focus on the financial regulations. You know, our jobs entails rules. Both the financial regulation rules, the public service rules, and so many rules that you need to comply with.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that. What financial achievements are you most proud of during your tenure as the Chief Financial Officer?
Well, you say, when we say that, well, the intention was to add value to the system. We met a system on ground. What I will always say that we have to improve on what is on ground. And how do we go about that? Is to look at some of the areas we think you can add your own value to it. We pay, I make sure that the way we have been paying our salary regularly, continue in that fold. For example, yesterday, the July salary was paid. So we are able to manage everybody, even including the adult staff, by be paying them regularly. And we make sure that the staff welfare too. Staffs were given the opportunity to go to both local trade and international trade. We enjoy our church fund. We make sure church fund programs, we assess it on time to make sure that the academic staff enjoy the academic staff trade for fun. And even the non-academic staff too for trade. And there's some training that we equally the rector equally is being magnanimous way, we're able to give to staff through the internally generated revenue. Okay. So those are one of the things that we do. I think we do. We try to improve upon. Not that our predecessors have not been doing that, but we just have to make sure that we improve on it. And most of the things that, because as an accountant, and luckily too, I'm working with a rector that is equally an accountant. So we're able to maximize the resources. And how do we do that? We use a tool called cost drive principle, a cost reduction principles. Once we're able to do that, where we think we want to spend 4 naira, and then we say, okay, let's use 2 naira. From there, we have gotten a savings. So those are most of the principles that we use, and we are able to make sure that we improve upon what we met on ground.
Okay, so that's great. Now you're saying that you are managing the financial sustainability and stability for the Polytechnic.
Exactly.
You have that in control.
Yes, we have it in control. That's why I said one of the principles that we use is to use a cost reduction scheme. With that, we're able to save money to do some other things. And we equally expand our revenue generation drive. Okay. Through making sure that we're able to establish a system where we expected some departments, some units to generate revenue. Once they're able to do that, one of it is this Poly TV that we established. This center, we call it a revenue center. So those are the things that we use. It's not that you establish a department, everything is a cost center. No. You can see our entrepreneurial development screen now. We expect them to do something for us and generate revenue, which they have been doing. Look at our Poly Consult. We expand that too. So those are the ways in which I would say that we have tried to improve upon from what we met on ground.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that. So I would like, I have this question here. What strategies have you implemented to optimize budget allocation and resource management?
Thank you. You see, federal government budget is what we operate. Okay. And how do we go about that? Is to exploit what they give to us. What you give us is an envelope. Okay. An envelope means you'll be given a specific amount. You can't go beyond that. And what you need is to go and prioritize your needs and make sure it's within that envelope. That's silly. Then what other things that is to now, it is now left on us to see how we can exploit other budget area that maybe it has not been explored before. For now, we have been trying to, this polytechnic has never enjoyed what we call high impact project from trade fund. This is one of the greatest achievements that we, the management, has achieved this year. We have never achieved that high impact project close to R1 billion from the federal government of Nigeria. We are able to do that now. So, and we make sure that even the ceiling they give to us, the allocation given to us, we make sure we didn't waste time on it. You can see the project going on the campus. Our 2023 project has been completed. We are expected to very soon we commence the 2024 project. And equally, we are able to interact very well. We have a social interactions with our senators from Ogun West. So he has been doing wonderfully with us very well. He has been assisting us to get more projects for the project through his own, what do you call it, this community, what they call it, from the National Assembly, okay. His own area too. So he's having about 4 projects that is going to start doing for us here in 2024, which it has never really happened in the past, except maybe that student hall that is we are seeing there. So very soon we are going to see a massive build consortium, about 4 projects, new projects. And let me quickly say that we are very strategic enough to make sure that we move around, then we make interaction with our communities, okay, very well, so that all this assistance can be gotten. And in the area of staff, in the area of staff welfare, we make sure that staff promotions, we pay them on time. For example, the people for the staff that were promoted in 2023 have started in getting their salaries, okay, on with their new promotion level and scale, okay, which may always be a little bit different from the past.
Thank you so much for that, sir. So you're managing all of this allocation, you're managing them correctly, and there are not any portals.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So what challenges have you faced in managing the financial affairs of the Polytechnic, and how have you addressed them, if there are any? Well,
challenges is just like my friend used to say, when you have a challenge, it's giving you that you should step up your thinking cap. Yeah. So tell you that you should change your thinking cap. The challenges are there for human beings to overcome. Of course there is, but you just have to allow the job to go ahead, because you know, as I said, government work is full of rules and regulations, and sometimes when you think, okay, let's do it this way so that our community will enjoy, our staff will enjoy, but sometimes you can tell you that you are trying to violate one of the rules. But those are the challenges we face sometimes, and then we have to allow the staff to understand that, because sometimes staff may make a request to get certain funds, and you have to tell them that this thing cannot go this way, but they felt that maybe you don't want to give it to them, and that's why they say, maybe the Bursar doesn't want to pay us, or they don't want us to enjoy this
How about
facilities.
Departments and units? How do you handle that aspect, that a particular department needs a particular fund, a particular department also need another fund? How do you manage such?
You know, the resources are limited.
Okay. And
we use what we call a resources allocation principle. There's no way, there's nothing amount you'll be given that it will go around, but it's going to be turn by turn. If you cannot meet up with your request now, you wait, maybe another time it will come to your turn.
So the challenges you mentioned is just between when staff wants funds, and are they the only challenges that you face?
There will be other things. Even with the staff in the department, there are always limitations. You cannot have it all at a time. You just have to let them understand that this is what you can get now. Day after you get your, but it's a challenge because they will be thinking you don't like their face. So as a human being, so it's always like that. But sometimes you let it go and you allow them to have their way.
Thank you so much, sir. In what ways have you collaborated with other departments to achieve financial goals and objectives?
That's what I said. I've said that to earlier that we let them know that it's no more a jamboree like in the past. That every department, we don't want to have a department that will only be a cost center department. We are trying to write the story that some department now we just have to what call a revenue center, not that as cost center. Then if you are able to generate revenue for us, let's see how we can do it. Then after you have done it successfully, then we know how to go about it with the what we call a revenue sharing formula at the end of the session. So part of it will be done through a welfare package for staff at the end of the year.
Thank you so much. My last question, because our time is fast spent. Looking ahead, what are your financial priorities and goals for the future of the Polytechnic?
Is to make sure that we have a greater development in terms of infrastructure, laboratories, buildings, equipment, and to make sure that we have stability, we have peace on campus. And staff welfare too. So it's also a paramount to our own, to my own development or my own achievement that we want to make sure we put on ground before we leave the system.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, now it's still the FBI agenda on Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro. Thank you so much for still watching. We'll go on this short break and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to your program, Poly TV show on Poly TV Ilaro. And that was a fantastic interview, or let me say chat or gist between Damilola and the Bursar of the Polytechnic. Welcome back. And still on FPI agenda, we are still looking at the 2 years stewardship of Director Dr. Mukail Aremu Akinde, and as well we had some students and staff that said their opinion about Director in the past 2 years. Let's see what they have to say about him.
This is Mrs. Evelyn Ilamosi Zika, the HOD of Business Administration and Management Department. The rector, to complement his 2 years in office, he has been wonderful. He has been a leader, a role model, an exemplary leader that is worthy of emulation. In fact, in all his administration for the past 2 years, he has been commendable. He has really done a lot. And I pray that the Almighty God will continue to lead him, to soar him to higher heights. He will never have cause to relent in his efforts. And for the management and staff, he has been very, very supportive and helpful. He has been committed and dedicated. In fact, this Monday, one of our students was involved in an accident, and immediately I called the rector. In his usual practice, he swung into action and gave its words that that student should be taken to Federal Medical Center and that financial support will equally be included. He has been so wonderful. We love his style of administration and it's commendable, and I pray that the remaining time or days he will use in office will be memorable for him. He will never have cause to stumble, that he will continue to go to greater heights, and is aspired for the Polytechnic to be taken to another higher level as a university. It will be easy for him, the staff and students, in the mighty name of Jesus. We thank you.
My name is Olaya Bisirodipe from Department of Architecture. I've known Rector when he was our chairman of Timetable Committee. And the Rector is a very hardworking person and very straightforward. And you could see that the transformation in the institutions. And the 2 years has been a commemorable, because now, very soon or later, because of his inputs and the past input from the previous rectors, you could see that Federal Polytechnic will soon become the University of Technology, based on what we have achieved so far. And Rector is a very simple person, and at the same time, he wants the team, the lecturers and the students to be up and going, up and doing. He doesn't like laziness to your work. Though it's simple, but very straightforward, and doesn't take nonsense. Once you do your work, you'll be given the credit. Is depend, the best general is the general that have good lieutenants. Are you getting me? Everybody have to be on the deck, be on the board. Are you getting me now? That there should be no lapses. Are you getting me? To commensurate his efforts. You could see that the staff welfare, the student welfare, everything is going on fine, superbly. And I wish him very smooth administrations.
Okay, so far so good. We thank God for preserving his life, and also for the fact that since he came into the administration, since he became director, we have a lot of things a lot of changes. Talking about the TV station, it was during his own administration that we did the launching of the TV station, and we commenced the broadcast. Then also some buildings, we have some buildings that were newly erected, and the painting of some other buildings that not one, not two. So I would say so far so good. He has he has continued the precedence of the former rector, and it's a good one to know that the person that I'm pretty sure the former rector would also be happy to know that the person he handed over to continued his legacy in a positive light.
So, the rector he has actually been a good father, though, and some lecturers do also commend him for his hard work. I will also commend him also in part of our hostel, let me say, because I'm an hostelite, I'll take the aspect of hostel into consideration. During last year, actually, our light was, I think, an hour 15 minutes or an hour 30 minutes due to the cost of diesel and so on. But as of now, it's now 2 hours. So say thank you to him on that aspect, or at least assisting us. Although that 2 hours is not enough, if he can help us improve on the hours, we'll appreciate. And also, thank you very much. May God continue to increase him in knowledge and his efforts.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Tamplana Eleshi Ganiola Rewaju. From Urban and Regional Planning Department of the Polytechnic. I'm the General Secretary of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnic Ilaro chapter. Well, our rector, Dr. Mukail Akinde, well, he has been doing wonderfully well since he has assumed the office. In fact, the union are indebted to him because he has actually tried in area that normally cause a kind of a rift between the union and the management, and that is the welfare. Because as a unionist, what we see as being paramount to ourselves and our member is our welfare. And honestly speaking, I must not shy away to say this. He has been doing wonderfully well, in fact, beyond what we expected from him. And I pray that God Almighty, in His infinity mercy, will continue to be with him, guide him, and give him more resources to do more. In fact, if you can go around the Polytechnic, you can see a lot of things that he has done, from the infrastructural development and many other things. Recently, there is an employment costly through him, because that employment has been on the hold for a very long time. But to the glory of God, with him and intervention of God, he has done something, and that has even relieved us, the academic and other members of the Polytechnic, both the academic and non-academics. He has reduced the tension. In fact, starting from last year, it has never happened in the history of Polytechnic. We approach him that we want our member to go on for holiday, and he graciously approved it. Throughout the December last year, all academic staff, we were at home, relax ourselves, before the commencement of another session. I pray that God will continue to be with him, bless him, guide him, and elevate him more than where he is today. Thank you very much.
My name is Lawrence Idowu Odufuye, the chairman, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Polytechnics, the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro branch. In the last 2 years of the rector, Dr. Mukail Aremu Akinde FCA, FCTI, my observation is that he has been a man of the people, a man that has the interests of members of staff at heart. During his little stay in office, he has shown passion. He has shown passion for staff welfare. He is more interested in their development, both physical and otherwise. In terms of administration, I've seen him to be an enigma. He has been very deep in his analysis. In fact, if you move near him, you see him digging deep in analysis before agreeing at any point. And when you talk about when members' welfare, he's so passionate about it. Even though with lean resources, he wants to see how he can at least do something to make them happy. We cannot get it better than this, but we know as human beings, we always ask for more. We always yearn for more. We still expect more of this, so that we can also, so that by the time we'll be completing his office, we'll be able to say so many good things about him. We know he's the first from this stand, from this side of the divide, because the other rectors have been outside Ogun State, outside this realm, that is Yewa, is the first, and is a trailblazer. He's trying to do something that maybe when next you want to say somebody from this area, they will be looking towards him and say, yes, during his time, this is what and what and what and what he's been able to do. I know he may have his limitation, but if you ask me, I would say his limitation is finance. I know if he has money, he will do so many exploits. So I also beckon on government to come to his aid and do what they are supposed to do, so that his tenure can be seamless, that all of us can also benefit richly from what he has to offer us. He's a man of the people. Unlike some other electors that they feel they're on top of the world, they don't associate immediately, they assume that position. It's not like that. He sees you, he comes down to greet you, he comes down to at least exchange ideas with you. He does not say it's all in all. If you have any idea you want to discuss with him, he listens to you passionately and he offers suggestions. He's a man that has a listening ears. He's a man that's passionate about things, about the development of this institution. He's so passionate about it, and that is what is dear to him. So if you want to gain his attention, you want him to be by your side, just go to him and discuss how this institution can be great. And by the time you do that, you'll be his best friend. However, as a unionist, we know he cannot satisfy us 100%. If you ask me to rate him, I would say 60% for now, pending the time that we'll be able to give me a final analysis. But as a member of non-teaching staff, we still expect more from him. We expect more from him. We expect more from him, so that it will not be one-sided. If you ask me, I would say it's 70% tilting towards academic, and we are also collaborators in the development of the institution. So I wish him well in office. I wish and I pray that at the end of his tenure, we have so many great exploits to point to as his achievement. This I pray for him in Jesus' mighty name.
My name is Mrs. Bankole Priscilla. I'm from the Rectory Department, the Directorate of Internal Audits to be precise. I'm a member of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Polytechnic, SANIP, and I'm also a member of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, which is a sister body to the ICANN, which the rector himself belongs to. Because the rector belongs to ICANN, I belong to ANAN, and in everything, he has been fair in his dealings. No discrimination between the two bodies since he came on board. When we go to him, he responds to us as a sister body to his own association, which is ICANN. When we go to him for anything, he's always there for us. When we ask him for any sponsorship to attend our programs, he has been doing it. And we also hope that as he continues in office, he will do more. And concerning staff welfare, he has been up and doing. In the development of the Polytechnic, he has been wonderful. Because since his inception as the rector of this school, we have seen many developments concerning the academics, even in the administrative aspect. He has been so wonderful. In the different offices, there's no discrimination. He has been okay. But you know, we staff, we always ask for more, because we will continue to be Oliver Twist. So we are asking that in everything we take to him, though he might not be able to do everything, but I'm sure and I know that he can satisfy us at least 80%. And I pray that as he continues, God will continue to be with him. God will help him. And at the end, I pray for him that he will land safely. He will finish well. He will finish strong. In the mighty name of Jesus.
My name is Mukail Aremu Akinde, mass communication student. Our rector has been keeping the good work in the school premises by the new rules and regulations added to our rules, and it has been keeping the school standard good. So we are expecting more of this, and to make improvements with the students and lecturers in schools.
That was great. Now we have the rector in person himself on the program this afternoon. And that's no other man but the 6th rector of the Polytechnic, Dr. Mukail Aremu Akinde FCA, FCIT, and as well is the zonal coordinator of Southwest COFA, which means Committee of Federal Rectors. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
And we are happy to have you here this afternoon.
I'm also delighted to be here. You are doing well.
Yes, and we are having a few questions with you this afternoon, which I know you are ready to give us befitting answers.
Well, Alhamdulillah, God will guide us to give you what is best for your questions.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Rector, I'd like you to share with us some of the accomplishments and milestones that the Polytechnic, the FPI, Polytechnic here, has achieved under our leadership in the past 2 years.
First and foremost, we have to give glory and adoration to Almighty God, the sustainer of life, who has been with us since we got to this office in September 2022. It's still like yesterday, but the candle is burning. I also want to appreciate the entire team that I'm working with, starting from the 2 deputy rectors, Dr. Mrs. Charlotte Redoro and TPL Assisi. That's Deputy Rector Administration, the Registrar, Mrs. Babatola, AF, the Librarian, Bursar and even the Bursar, Mr. Morouf Akinola, because the job is not done alone. We are working together as one big team, and even my students who are always listening to what we used to say. So we want to appreciate everyone, and that, well, we've done little, but I don't know to the extent to which people are just talking about it, but I believe that we are just starting. You know, when you are coming out with something from your pocket, you wouldn't know whether it's black or yellow or white. We have just started this, getting to 2 years this September. Yeah, when we started, I think the first thing we did was to set, like I said when I came here the other time, we set up a committee to look at our powers. The main challenges of the Polytechnic is the power. And that committee was set up, and they look at various alternatives and we are still on it. We have pursued one of them that's for the very short term to connect to have what we call a changeover switch. We bought that one for NEPA so that they can isolate us from Aderonke and ODRCs when there is fault on that line. We also have written to a particular company to support us by selling the electricity to us. We are also awaiting the letter from that. So that's one of those things we have done. We have also invested in alternative energy by way of solar. When we came in where there was no solar, we are trying to improve on the solar system so that we can have electricity, at least renewable and clean energy. A very good example is the one we did at medical. We put inverter at the medical center. We put at the admin and the ARTs ongoing. So architectural studio is also ongoing to put renewable energy when there is no electricity. You know, the main challenge of this polytechnic is electricity. You know, you are on generator as you are running the television. Yes. So we've done that, and we also look at the examination pattern. You know, the selling point of this polytechnic. I graduated from this polytechnic in 1993-94 set of accountancy. We met a particular examination system when I was a student. For example, as an accounting student, the two persons that would be at my back, maybe mechanical engineering and maybe electrical engineering. To my right, the same thing. To my left, the same thing. So before I can talk to my mates, you have to stand up or giraffe. You know what we call giraffing. So that is what we used to do, and that I decided to automate that. We have automated that, and we're using a software called Python code. Our students will be distributed at random using that software. And the novelty thing about that is that the comfort of the students' houses, they are able to know the venue of the examination because they used to get an alert through a text message or through text messages on their phone. So when they are in their houses, they know the room, the hall where they are to write their exams and all that. So that has been done. We have also automated this timetabling system. We used to do that timetable manually in the past. Now we have a software that we used to do it so that within very few weeks, the job we used to do for about 7 or 8 weeks, the time has been reduced to maybe 1 or 2 weeks now. The timetable for lecture can now come up within a very short time. We've done that. We have also expanded the programs of the Polytechnic. When we came in, we met 34 programs, accredited programs that were running, both ND and HND. We have conducted 4 accreditations since when we came in within 2 years. Now all our programs are accredited. Not only accredited, we have only added to it. Both at ND and HND, we have added about 24 programs. We now run about 136 programs in this polytechnic, so that has extended the number of students we do have, and that to God be the glory. So we now have more students, so the community is bubbling and all that. So that's that and all that. In terms of infrastructural facilities, there are 2 sources of funds to the polytechnic. We have the capital grant from the federal government of Nigeria, headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we have also funding from TED Fund, headed by Executive Secretary Architect Echono. So those are the 2 major sources of funds that we do have. The 2023 capital intervention, we have completed them. Of course, you usually say that your television is in the highbrow of the polytechnic. You can see in your front that the road has been completed. Yes. And that's been completed, and that's the 2023 capital projects. Most of them have been completed. Some are ongoing. The classrooms are also ongoing and all that. We also have TED Fund projects. We have a lot of equipment. Like I told you earlier on, the new programs have been added. Cement technology. If you visit our cement technology, you will see that state-of-the-art facilities, equipment are there, courtesy of TED Fund. So that's there and all that. So I'm also saying that we also have a lot of projects that are ongoing on campus, and we'll soon start a new one. Let me tell you that for the first time in the annals of this polytechnic, We've just got special intervention. We have never gotten it in the history of this polytechnic since 1979. So we got 2 billion naira from third fund, and when we got that, we normally have our procurement plan and the strategy plan to see what do we do. In our procurement plan, we know that we have also done some things in terms of new school and all that. We've created a new school of agriculture, so we are also looking at the art and design. We decided that intervention will be deployed for School of Art and Design and Printing Laboratory Technology. We don't just decide on what to do. We look at the cost structure of the polytechnic. We look at how do we reduce cost, because we're talking about money is limited, resources are limited. The one we have, how do we use it? So the focus is when we want to start a new department, what would that bring to the table in terms of cost reduction? So we decided to go for a School of Art and Design and Printing Laboratory to reduce pressure that we normally have from printing, because when we do have a printing laboratory, you know that what that means is that a lot of money we used to spend to produce examination booklets, to do this or that, we'll take that away. If you take that away, we are going to save costs. So when we save costs, that means that we should be able to have more money to spend for the students and staff. We've done that, that's when we soon start. Let me also tell you, the Polytechnic is seated on about 898 hectares of land. That means we have potential for agric.
Yes.
In our strategic plan, it is there that we needed to create School of Agriculture. Let me tell you, that has been created now, and the project is ongoing through third fund sponsorship. We have created new School of Agriculture, and that we have also added new programs in that School of Agric. Why? Because we want to see how we maximize the use of our land in terms of planting, in terms of so that we can also feed the community. Recently, we produced a tricycle. That tricycle was produced at the Innovation Center. In fact, only last week, if not for the protest that is ongoing, I was called from Abuja that they are interested to come and see that tricycle. What did we do? How did we do it? And I told them they are welcome, that even after the strike, we want to receive them, because that tricycle is a game changer. You could see that during the last ceremony, they used that tricycle to take me to the convocation arena. So they want to see the magic in it. The magic in it is that tricycle reverses, both, wow, both front and backward and forward, unlike so many that have been produced in so many other places. Ours reverses. Not only that, it uses alternative energy without petrol. So we don't need to use petrol to power it, and all. That's also there. In our capital budget 2024, that the one I'm saying we want to start, apart from the School of Agriculture, you are going to see a lot of projects that will come up this year, courtesy of our distinguished Senator Olamile Konyayi, who we have used his connection, you know, is the chairman of Appropriation Act. And of course, he has a constituency project and all that. We have about 6 projects that will be coming to the Polytechnic. One of it is the solution. The senator is trying to provide solution to our electricity conundrum. I told you when we started, we came up with the idea of power generation committee. The power generation committee provided to us 3 alternatives. Solution, we've embarked on only one. That one has not been impactful. The one that will be impactful is connection of Polytechnic to the 33 kVA at Papalanto, which I want to inform viewers that is in 2024 Appropriation Act, courtesy of our distinguished senator. I know that when that implementation starts, the issue of your TV running on television will be a thing of the past. Let me also tell you, the Polytechnic is expanding. Because it's expanding, we need new administrative building. Very shortly, we will see that construction work will start in a new administrative building, and that the road linking Rahim Oloyo International Center to the mosque, the Poly Mosque, yes, is also in that. So there are so many projects. We have laboratories in that appropriation hall that is coming. So in that 2 years, we've been able to achieve little. But I know that in the remaining years, we will do more so that the Polytechnic will change the narrative, because our intention is to position this Polytechnic as a foremost Polytechnic in West Africa.
No, in any office, someone assumes, of course, we are going to see challenges. And let me ask you, how do you address these challenges? And like, what strategies do you apply to address challenges facing the Polytechnic right now?
We are in a world of challenges. If you are afraid of challenges, you cannot lead. One of the method I use is team spirit. You know, I've said that in many fora. You want to win a football match, there are 11 players.
Yes.
If 11 players, they are playing differently, they are not playing together, they can't win a football match. There is what we call strength equation. If there are 3 human beings, 3 personalities, I mean, they have different talents and their weaknesses. Well, the 3 personalities must be working for one another to cover the weaknesses of the other so that they can achieve greatness. That's one strategy that I deploy. The entire management staff, starting from the principal officers, the dean, even the HOD at that level, we want to see how to push them to galvanize support, to develop team spirit to manage those challenges. Another thing that we are also doing is what we call cost reduction strategy. In the Polytechnic, most of the departments we have here are cost centers. What do I mean by cost centers? Departments that spend money, they are not bringing anything. We are developing strategies that when we want to create new departments, they should be bringing something of value to the table in terms of additional revenue. So that we can also support government, because government can't adequately fund any institution. So we needed to do something or think outside the box, or even break the box to come up with new strategies to provide alternative revenue to the Polytechnic. We are doing that. So everything we are doing, I told you earlier on that we want to start printing laboratory. Why do we need to start that? Because we want to reduce printing costs. So when we reduce printing costs, what happens? Cost goes down. We have savings that can be deployed to another one. Another thing is that even the staff, the generality of the staff, we have 3 unions on campus, even 4. If I want to add the student union leadership, we also, we have the NASU, we have the SANIP, we also have the ASUP. So there are challenges here and there, but one of the things we do is negotiation. We discuss, because we cannot pull the roof down. We cannot pull the Polytechnic down. We needed to talk, discuss, look at it. What are the challenges? Let's see how to manage it in the interest of the Polytechnic, so the Polytechnic is first. So we've been doing that to manage the challenges of the Polytechnic. And I know that God is also guiding us. We cannot manage anything without God. Yes. So the Alpha and Omega. So whatever we want to do, we put it before God for acceptance. Once God accepts it, we move ahead. So that's the way of managing our challenges and all that.
Having said that, let me ask you, in what ways you have been able to enhance the quality of education and research at the Polytechnic since the beginning of your tenure?
The Polytechnic, like I've said in a lot of discussion, we should devote a lot of attention to the Polytechnic. Because at the Polytechnic, what we do here is different from the university, and I am bold to say it, because I've attended the university and I've also attended Polytechnic. What we do is different. What we do is to apply theory in the Polytechnic. And in doing so, we have done a lot of things to expand the frontier of knowledge in applied research. Recently, we won what we call an NRF, National Research Fund of the Third Fund. That's about 53 million naira. Through our proposal won that, and they have started implementing it. We also have won about 123 or 126 million naira, when about 66 lecturers won researches, won grants of the Third Fund. That is marvelous. We have never had that in the past. In the pedagogy or in the teaching, we are trying to deploy biometric device. You know that when you want to get our certificate, we are jealous of ensuring that you are well imparted in terms of the pedagogy in the classroom, the teaching in the classroom. We want to introduce a system in a way that attendance is automated. We won a grant for that from TED Fund, that's from fabrication fund. That has been produced. Let me tell you, that device, if you want to import it, we will have spent triple of the value used. But that biometric device was actually produced by the Innovation Center using a platform called Committee on Biometric and Attendance. They produced that device internally here, and that who did it? The students of electrical engineering, computer engineering, and computer science. So the committee was able to give us that device. As at this stage, we are doing the pilot test, monitoring the attendance of students at the classroom. So what we are trying to do is to see how do we ensure that all our students pay attention to coming to classrooms. We want to take attendance using biometric device so that at the touch of a button, we know how many students come to class for the semester, how many times did you attend the class, or you want to know all that. So we are doing that to increase the quality of education, because it's not just certification. When you are certificated, what can you do? We have also devoted premium attention to practical. What we are doing here is also practical. A lot of our students are involved in what we are doing to ensure that the world-class television like Al Jazeera, CNN, channels, or even TVC, see our students, have partnership with them, and be able to give them employment when they graduate. So we are doing that across every department. Like I told you, we have created about 24 departments. 80% of the departments are engineering and pure and applied sciences. The essence of that is to assist this country to produce what we think we cannot produce. We can't be importing everything from the toothpick and bottles and all that importing. So our focus is to make sure that we use engineering to drive the polytechnic, and that's what we are doing. And we have created a lot of value in that. I have not come here with that list. They have produced a lot of engineering equipment that you can use to support even the community. The one that produce kokoro, the one that can even produce gari, the one that can do a lot of things. We have them at our engineering there. So we are doing a lot of things so that this country is great, because that's our intention.
All right. Let me also ask you, Doctor, what you think, or what your goals are for the future of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro?
Goals, goals. My goals. If I want to talk about that one,
your goals and missions.
Missions, objective. If you look at our strategic plan, we want to produce graduates that are practically inclined. Those world-class graduates that should be able to make difference when they get to the society. My goal is to make sure that I work very hard with the management team to realize the objectives stated in the strategic plan. Because I cannot just have my goal. It's not my goal. The goal of the Polytechnic. The goal of the Polytechnic is highlighted in the strategic plan. And what are these? To start new departments that will assist the community. And that if you look at the development we are trying to come up with, look at welding and fabrication. For welding and fabrication, why we started that department is to link up with the community, give them modern technique of welding. Welding in those days differ now. We use modern technology. We started that department to also assist the community. Look at the Department of Mechatronic Engineering, look at even automotive engineering. The essence of that, the mechanic in our community, they use old method of repairing. We want to engage them to also expose to them modern method of maintaining vehicle. The vehicle today, automotive today is different. It's not unlike those days that you used to spark plug on your on the what do you call that? The machine, the engine of the vehicle. So it's different now. We want to expose to them the kind of, because we have a lot of facilities and engineering departments, so we want to link up with the community in a way that we train, we even start training the mechanic village. Yeah, so thank you for it. So that's what our focus is, to realize the core values of the Polytechnic by producing graduates that will support the technological drive of this country.
All right, let me take this one before I'll let you go, sir. In what ways do you plan to continue improving and enhancing the overall student experience in the Polytechnic?
You know, I was a former student. What
Yes.
I intend doing, together with it, because I always want to avoid the use of the word I, because I love to use we. What we intend doing is that, you know, the Polytechnic want to make it a brand that is enviable to all among every other federal polytechnics. And in doing that, the focus, like I told you earlier on, is cost reduction strategy. A situation whereby ₦1 that you want to deploy, there will be value for it. Not only that, we want to ensure that our students are academically and morally sound. You might be a distinction candidate. If your moral is low, you will not get, you cannot attract value to yourself. So we are going to an era whereby the moral of our students, the academic intellect, even their drive towards innovation will be enhanced. And that we might also want to attempt to sustain the new programs that we have gotten. We don't just want to continue to expand the program without sustaining the one that we have. We want to ensure that, for now, let me inform you that all our programs are accredited. And that we want to ensure that by the time the National Board for Technical Education will be coming for what we call electronic accreditation, we have put everything in place so that this Polytechnic is E. But the main focus is that at the end of this tenure, this Polytechnic will be a paperless Polytechnic. We want to eliminate all sorts of physical interaction. Our admission, our portal, everything, no, we have eliminated that one. So we want to make sure that we expand that frontier in a way that we do less with of physical interaction. So things will be done online. That's our intention in the next few years, and that we want to sustain what we have done.
Quickly, Rector, since you assumed office as a rector, how do you engage the local community and the industries and the industry partners to ensure that the Polytechnic is meeting their needs and as well contributing to economic development of the community?
You know, social interaction is key in development. When there is what we call that theory is not readily available on hand now. But when the federal government set up a particular institution in a particular area, the essence of it is development. And that there cannot be any development without town and gown. The Ilaru community has been very, very supportive. That support would not have been gotten without our highly revered paramount ruler, Oba Kehinde Gbadewale Ashade Agunleye IV. He has been well supportive in all that we are doing. And that even before I came in, because the former rector did a lot of things. Before I came in, there is what we call Polytechnic Community Relationship, PICOF. We are always meeting from time to time on that. And that is what is sustaining us in the Polytechnic. You can see that even during this protest, the Polytechnic is peaceful. Students are, in fact, someone called me this morning that the land that we are doing lecture and all that, how did we do it? I said we wouldn't have been able to do it with the support of the community. Well, we've met the major stakeholders in the community, and we have the assurances that there will be peace and all that. So the students are coming in and going out peacefully, as if there was no strike in other places of the world. It's like we're in another world. So the community play crucial roles in that. And that if we don't have that interaction, we cannot have that. Secondly, I told you earlier on that through social interaction, through community linkages, Senator Lamilekan Adeola Yayi is doing wonderfully well, giving us a lot of assurances that he wants to also turn the Polytechnic like what we have in MIT. You know, MIT in US, I think MIT it's in the other in developed nation. Let me put it that way. You want to turn this Polytechnic to be competitive like London School of Economics in a way that it will be attractive. So if there is no community linkages, we will not be able to achieve that. I can assure you that in the next 1 or 2 years, this Polytechnic will be a different one.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rector, for coming on the show this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you. I am very delighted to always be here, and you are doing so well. The television that just started, you are running it as if it has started for the past 2 years. And like I said the other time, when you have a new baby, you cannot walk in a day. After a few months, the baby will start walking, because London Bridge was not actually constructed in a day. It usually takes time before things mature to that level. I know that our prayer that this television will be a brand, and I know that the students and the staff, you are really doing a good job here.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And that was the Rector, Dr. Mukail Aremu Akinde FCA, FCIT, 6th substantial rector of the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, and as well is the zonal coordinator, Southwest, COFA, which means Committee of Federal Rectors, on Poly TV show, on Poly TV Ilaro. We'll go on this break, then we'll come back. We have many things for you. Stay tuned.
Ẹ máa gbọ́ wa kẹ́ máa wò wá. Ẹ máa gbọ́ wa kẹ́ máa wò wá. Poly TV la wà. Ẹ máa gbọ́ wa kẹ́ máa wò wá. Poly TV. Poly TV Ìlaro la kalẹ̀ sí o. Mo máa wòran tí gbogbo ayé ń fẹ́. Mo máa wòran tí gbogbo èèyàn ń fẹ́. Ìròyìn kò máa dẹ tá mojú bá. Poly TV tí gbogbo ayé ń retí. A ní ẹ máa gbọ́ wa kẹ́ máa wò wá Poly. Poly TV Ìlaro la kalẹ̀ sí o. Tó bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ ti máa gbọ́, ẹ ti máa gbọ́, ẹ ti máa gbọ́, ẹ ti máa gbọ́ pé Poly TV ẹ ti máa gbọ́, wá dẹ̀ ẹ ti máa gbọ́ o. Poly TV Ìlaro la wà nínú Poly gangan o. Nínú Poly làwà o. Poly TV, Poly TV, Poly TV, wàá dẹ̀ ti máa gbọ́ o. Móhùn máa wòran wa táwa fẹ́ ìdàgbàsókè wa, wàá dẹ̀ ti máa gbọ́. Poly fún dàgbàsókè, TV fún dàgbàsókè o. Wàá ti máa gbọ́, wàá ti máa gbọ́ o. Ó yá pàkúrú máa kẹ́jọ dáadáa kẹ́ wò wá o. Ó yá pàkú máa kẹ́jọ dáadáa kẹ́ wò wá o. Poly TV tá ń sọ tí gbogbo ayé. Ẹ pàkú máa kẹ́wò dáadáa kẹ́ wò wá o. Wọ́n ń gbọ́ wa l'Amẹ́ríkà, ń gbọ́ wa ní gbogbo ìlú o. Pàkú máa kẹ́jọ dáadáa kẹ́ wò wá o. Pàkú máa kẹ́jọ dáadáa kẹ́ wò wá o. Poly TV o tí gbogbo àwa ń retí. Ilẹ̀ yé wa la kalẹ̀ sí nílùú Ìlaro wa. Tẹlifíṣàn fún ìdàgbàsókè ilẹ̀ wa ni. tẹlifíṣàn fún ìdàgbàsókè ilẹ̀ gbogbo wa. ẹ pakuruma ẹ pakuruma pakuruma ẹ jó dáadáa ẹ jó dáadáa ẹ pakuruma ẹ pakuruma ẹ jó dáadáa ẹ pakuruma ẹ pakuruma ẹ jó dáadáa jó dáadáa jó dáadáa jó dáadáa òun là ń retí ẹ jó dáadáa ló máa wòran wa ni ẹ pakuruma ẹ máa wò wá o Poli làwà o Poli TV ni ẹ wò wá o 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 ẹ máa gbọ́ wa kẹ́ máa wò wá.
Welcome back to the Poli TV show on Poli TV Ilaro. It's been an amazing time on the show today, right, Peter?
Yes, of course, very amazing. After all the segments, we had our guest, director, the Bursar and Registrar, all of them as guests on the program today.
And it's been really fantastic. We really engaged them and they answered our questions. And today has been wonderful, basically. It's been really wonderful. So go watch it, subscribe, like, share with your friends, drop your comments, and let us know what you think about each and every of our programs by dropping your comment. And it's been a nice time. And don't forget that Poli TV show comes up Mondays to Friday, and it's always amazing and great. We have to wrap up the show
Definitely.
now. Exactly. So my name is Damilola Adekunle. Thank you so much for watching Poli TV show today.
My name is Peter Olaniyo.
And we are saying bye.
Bye.